Okay, now we kind of walk through what each one of these methods do. Let's talk about some problems in which we may want to have to think this thing through. What I like about what we're going to be going into in the next several weeks, it requires you as a student to start thinking. Quit looking for the exact answer. Quit looking for an answer right in front of you is going to solve your problem. Because in some cases, it's not going to be there. In some cases, you're going to have to sit back and try to think this stuff through to figure out how exactly do I need to get where I need to get to. Okay? These are a couple of simple problems also, but let's try to figure out what the steps would actually go through to actually get this done. Okay? Usually what happens is that when you come out of programming one, things were relatively simple. Well, I know sometimes a lot of people had problems with breaking everything down into modules and trying to understand functions completely. But logical wise, it wasn't too awfully challenging. I don't want to minimize it, but you get my point. Well, now things are going to get more, we got to build up your logic. We got to get you to be better problem solvers because everything you want to do is just not sitting in front of you. You can't go read a book to find that perfect answer. You got to be able to understand the problem, try to figure out where you're headed to, and then sit back and think about the steps and the tools you have available to you to be able to solve it. And that takes practice, but it also takes the ability to sit back and say, I know it can be solved. Now let's just do it and think about it one step at a time. Quit trying to shortcut it. Okay? So with that said, let's just say I want to be able to take a string such as Niels, comma Bob, Lincoln, comma Abe, Robinson, comma Paisley, or for any matter, anybody's last name, comma, space, whatever their first name is, as big or as small as it possibly can be. And I want to turn it around and put it in the result set. How can I possibly do that? Based upon what you know. Okay, so if I asked you to do this on a program, how could you possibly do it? Well, I mean, I guess right off the bat, we could sit back and say, well, I can go get Bob pretty easily, right? We've done that before. Actually, did that up here. I could just kind of pull that off with a substring, right? So let's go get my substring here. And so I'm going to go put that in there. So if they put Bob Niels in there, I can do that. And I'm going to put that in there, and I can do a substring, like this here. And knowing that Bob starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's in the 8th position. So 8, I'm sorry, not 2, but 8, comma, let's see, then 3 characters, so 3. So yeah, I just pull Bob off. That sounds pretty good, right? And I want to go to Niels, so I want to say Bob space Niels, right? Well, substring doesn't do that. What do I do? And that's what I'm asking you. How can you possibly put this together based upon what you know? And I guarantee you, you know enough. You don't have to go search everything out there. You know enough. How would I get this to get the LBL result, okay, dot text to equal Bob space Niels given this right here? Well, I have Bob in string 2, so I could sit back and put in string str string 2, right? Oh, I'm killing my typing today. Sorry about that. Right? I have him in there, and I can probably do some concatenation, correct? Where I can put my space right there, and now I just want Niels. Okay, well, how do I get Niels? Well, I guess I could remove Bob at the end of this, right? And I sit back and I go, well, yeah, I could do that. So I could actually, maybe I need to do, I'm going to dim right here, okay? And see where I'm going with this, everybody, is I got to think this thing through. I got to think this thing through to sit back and say, how can I make this happen? And so I could sit back and say str string 3, okay? And I want to I want to remove. Let's go back up and look at remove here. And so where it is, I know you're here, there's remove. And I can take this remove here and put that right there. and I'm going to remove from string 1 Bob at the end. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the 6th position, I'm going to remove the rest. And if I remove the rest, I don't have to give it a count. And the only thing that will be, so it'll be left there is Niels, and I can then finally make this str string 3. All right, what do you think? str string 3, why is that? Oh, I concatenate that. You guys are probably all screaming at me out there. Let's see what I got here. So I took Bob Niels and twisted Niels, comma Bob, and twisted it around by using a couple different string things here. And so I put Niels, comma Bob, and my results, if this works, is Bob Niels. Look at me, I'm the world's greatest programmer. Aren't you impressed? All right, that's wonderful. What if I put Abe Lincoln in there? Let's go ahead and try that. And let's see how that all works out. And so I put Abe Lincoln in there, and boom, not so good. Not so good at all. Well, what the heck? Okay. And if I put Paisley Robinson, I'm not sure where I came up with that name in there. As you can see, that's a mess. Why is it a mess? So I want to be able to do this no matter what name I put in there, this thing should actually work. But it doesn't. Now, I made it work for Bob Niels, which I think is the first step we should actually have done here, is to sit back and say, okay, how could I possibly do this? So without thinking, getting overwhelmed in my problem solving, how I would have done this is go to low-hanging fruit and get Bob Niels to work. Yay me. But I got it to work, but I didn't get it to work for all the other ones. Why? But I got the first one to work. So that I got a good start here. I know I needed to pull off the name somehow, and then I needed to pull off and remove everything after that certain piece. Anybody help me here? So if I want to do it for each one of them, there's different lengths here, but there is some commonality, right? I always got a comma, and I always got a space. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Is anybody screaming out there at me? Well, one of the things that I talked about is sometimes what we can do is go search the string, right, to find where a certain character is located. And based upon that, that might really help me out. So in this case here, if I sit back, I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to say int index as integer. Okay, so I'm going to have another little piece here. And I'm going to say int index equals str string. And so if I want to go find something, what do? Dot index of, correct? Str string 1, sorry, let me get this right. You guys got to live through my... And what do I want to find? I probably want to find where that comma resides at. Does that make any sense? Okay. So if I find where the comma resides at, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th is the 7th location. Here's the 8th location. If I find that, okay, where the comma resides at, remember this substring here, I'm going to start it at a certain location. So let's be dynamic. We got to think outside the box. If it returns a location, I want to pull off two index spaces after that, and then we don't care how many characters. Does that make any sense? So once again, if I find the index, okay, where it's located at, I want to go to, in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did this wrong. I'm sorry, 6, 7, 8. I want to start there. In this case, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's two spaces, it's two index positions afterwards. Watch what I do here. int index plus 2. Isn't that cool? So that will say start there and pull off anything after that. And I don't even have to give it. It's just going to start there and pull the rest of it off, that first name. Isn't that wonderful? And then what I'm going to do is remove, starting at that location, int index. And now I actually did it all. Now I have a dynamic environment here, and so on. Let's see if it works. Hey, I'm trying this for the first time, so let's see if this thing works, okay? I might need to tweak it. I never want to guarantee anything. I probably should have tested this before I do the video. There's Bob Niels. And so we put in Lincoln, comma, Abe. Boom, Abe Lincoln. Isn't that cool? If I put in boom, 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 copy, maybe this is some name from outer space, boom, it switched it around, okay? It does it with anything because I actually utilize all that together. My point to this is, this probably wasn't an easy problem to solve, and you may be looking at it going, what the heck just happened? So what I did was, as I solved for the first one and got Bob Niels working, and realized it didn't work for the other ones. But how can I make it more dynamic? I went and found where the comma is located at. I pulled off the substring everything after the index that it returned, where it found the comma, plus 2 spaces afterwards. Then I removed wherever the index was, the comma was, and removed the rest of it, and I got back to concatenating my strings together. Pretty wild? What do you think? Okay, so as you see, there is no one string manipulation technique or method that's going to solve our problems for us. Given a problem, we got to think this thing through and actually build on our logic. Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, so I can think these things through pretty fast because I've done it a lot. I've experienced a lot. You need the practice, okay? And the more you practice it, the better you'll get with it. But, you know, don't look for the easy answer. Get logical, solve it. Start from the easy part and move on, and I think you'll be fine, okay? All right? I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to stop here, but I'm going to come back and do one more of these to actually show you another example where I want to determine every name that comes in, if it's a Niels or not. But it could come in as Bob Niels, Rebecca Niels, Arnold Niels with all those spaces, or Sydney Niels with capitals and all that stuff all in it. We'll talk about that here in the next video.